actually quite bright outside, and so I'm wearing my sunnies. Now you might wonder, why am I wearing these sunnies? You may not care, which is most of you, but there's an interesting reason. It's because I'm wearing contact lenses. Now, is that a big deal? Not really. But what happens is that I've noticed that interacting with people elicits a slightly different reply when I'm wearing glasses versus when I'm wearing contact lenses. Now, I haven't yet been able to quantify it because it's different in different circumstances. What I noticed actually, I learned this a long time ago by accident, was that apparently it's rude to wear sunglasses when talking to someone. But then some people say it's okay. But then some of those people who say it's okay mean that it's okay, and others say it's okay to be polite. So those type of neurotypical um, uh, communications that have a subtext, that's where I miss it. So I have to find someone I can trust who can tell me whether or not I should be wearing or not be wearing sunglasses. Now, because right now I am not yet at my um, partner's house, there is no one around me I can trust to ask that question. I could have potentially asked ChatGPT, but I thought, you know what, I'll just jump on and quickly say Merry Christmas. Now, this is probably the first one where I haven't driven bus, and I miss that, actually. It's weird. I mean, I love developing mathematics. As compared to driving buses, it's enjoyable every day. But driving buses on Christmas Day was a tradition that I ended up falling into. And it was amazing because you're driving, you're cool inside the bus. Outside the bus, it's hot. So you get to enjoy the beautiful bright day, but still be cool inside the bus. And you're mostly on your own because there's no one around. As you can see, it's dead quiet. So that's Christmas Day. Everyone's in their homes or holidays or family or whatever it is. And so I would just cruise the streets in the bus, backwards and forwards, doing my job. And the pay was enormous on those days, which for a you wouldn't think. It's deceptive in that, blue collar work doesn't tend to award one that level of pay per hour. So saturation of economic saturation. It doesn't even make sense what I'm saying. But anyway, that was fantastic. Hello, Jade. Pleasure to see you. See you is a pleasure. So thanks for the thumbs up to whoever it was. Anyway, so now I'll actually be spending time with family as opposed to spending it driving buses. This is difficult for certain neurotypes like myself, anyone who has an autistic neurotype or on the spectrum. It is extremely difficult because you don't intuit the subtext. So when I'm there, my brain is constantly trying to analyze, when do I talk, when do I not talk? If someone asks me a question, how do I know how to answer it? Are they being sarcastic? Are they not? Now, when there's multiple people, it becomes extremely difficult because the conversation is not linear. They seem to use words, and the words make sense, but as a cohesive narrative, it doesn't really. And then people will oscillate between talking to the group versus talking to each other one-on-one within the group versus one person talking to two other people, or one person talking to no one who's listening and they're talking on their own. And then if you listen, then they'll keep talking to you directly, and then you're worried whether you're ignoring other people. So that stuff is so complicated for me that mathematics is easier than that. So it's almost like, imagine inventing chewing gum in a world where not only do you speak English and everyone speaks Greek, but there's no such thing as gum, and you have to then figure out how to even explain the concept of gum because it's so out there, and also figure out how to explain it in Greek. So you have to learn Greek itself. It doesn't just have to make sense to you, it's got to make sense to everyone else. This is the level of rigor that you don't normally get in public discourse. So when you watch people debate and argue, you can see they haven't defined their terms correctly. And the easiest way to see it is with two children. You might look at two children and say, one kid takes a toy from the other kid, and then you say, give that toy back. Now, the kid from whom the toy was taken is now happy, and you think you've done something right. But what have you done? You've rewarded the narrative of one child and disincentivized the narrative of the other. So then you grow up in a world where one child is thinking they were right and the other thinking they were wrong. Now, this is fascinating because it doesn't address the reason that the child took the toy in the first place from their perspective. So what in their mind made them think that they were right to take that toy? And without addressing that, you end up with a slice of a narrative, a cartoon narrative, which is that there's a right, a wrong, a good and a bad. We see that in Hollywood, where it's deeper to say something like intent versus impact. So you might have good intent but have very bad impact. It doesn't mean that you were a bad person. It means that you were misguided, misunderstood, were focusing on trying to satisfy an unconscious desire of which you may not have been aware. And you end up making choices where other people then look at it at a two-dimensional level and just say, oh, that person's bad or that person's good. Anyway, good to talk to you guys. It is now 11 minutes. I've got to go. And as always, take life one smack at a time. Don't forget.